Well, good evening, Denver Broncos fans, and welcome to the Denver Bronco Roundup. I'm sorry, man. We're having IT issues like you wouldn't believe in the background. We're not even close to fashionably late. I like to call us fashionably late sometimes, but here we are nonetheless. Appreciate you guys so very much. We're going to try to hit the comments as best as we can. Please, 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 if you haven't given StreamYard your ability to share your profile through streamyard.com/Facebook, please. Tonight, always, but especially tonight, guys, if you can help me out, drop your name in the comment that you put in. I'd appreciate it a ton, guys. Wow. It's been Thanksgiving. Hopefully, you guys have recovered. Hopefully, you had a wonderful Thanksgiving, stuffed yourself full. By the way, I'm your host, Keith Brugman. I am with Mr. Trevor Salzman this evening. We are the Denver Bronco Roundup. Thanks for joining in. Trevor, how you doing, sir?
I'm doing pretty good, Keith. It's Thanksgiving always comes by pretty quick, so on to Christmas now. But got to see some really good
Wow.
games yesterday, so not can't really complain too much. Got to play Monopoly for about 4.5 hours yesterday, so that was a large part of my day. So can never go wrong with that.
There you go. I love that, man. Always good fun having games around on Thanksgiving. You know, we're empty nesters to be 100% honest. So, that being said, it was just the two of us, man. We had one in a Friendsgiving. We have one in Ohio. So, we just kind of hung out by ourselves, watched a lot of football, which was awesome because my wife's awesome like that. And boy, just had a fantastic time. Had a little turkey dinner, had the stuffing, had the cranberry sauce, of course, had the turkey, So, filled ourselves up well and, watched, like I said, watched some football, man. What was your favorite game from Thanksgiving? Did you get to watch many games through the Monopoly games?
Yeah, I definitely took a peek at a few games. I got to watch the Packers and Lions game early on. That was pretty entertaining. I think that was the game of the day, in my opinion, just because it was definitely an upset in a lot of people's minds. That's a Lions team that's a very good football team that's been playing really
Mm.
great football up to this point, and they just, Jordan Love, he looked great yesterday in that win against Green Bay. So that was probably game of the day. The rest of the games are kind of predictable, in my opinion. A lot of those teams you can kind of see which was the better team going into that game. So those were predictable.
Mm.
But I did not predict Green Bay to beat Detroit Lions, at least on this Thanksgiving day.
No, yeah, not on this one. That's a good
Yeah.
point, man.
Yeah.
Years past, easy prediction, right? But this one wasn't expecting it. Wasn't expecting the Green Bay Packers to show up like the way they did. It was the surprise game of them all. So we got to be excited. I guess not excited, but it's always good to see something out of the blue. It's nice to see a competition. So was really hoping that Seattle is going to be able to go in there and make a little bit of noise, have a little bit of fun there. But I digress. We didn't get that. San Francisco continues to roll on. So, and what was the other game? What was the one I was missing, man?
Was
Uh
it?
oh.
Ooh, I'm missing that one.
Ooh. Oh, the
It's
Commanders
Commanders and
and
yeah.
and
Oh yeah.
and
Yeah.
the good old Dallas Cowboys. So,
Yeah.
and things went kind of as expected in that game. So,
Yeah.
not the strongest, cast of games. Kind of rolled right over into Black Friday.
Yeah.
First Black Friday game. Unfortunately, not what Amazon was kind of hoping for when it originally came out. It looked like it was going to be pretty good. Let's
Yeah.
face it. If Aaron Rodgers was playing today, I would have been a lot more in tune. But I don't know how many tuned in to see the Jets get absolutely handled by the Miami Dolphins. So
Did you see the tweet of Aaron Rodgers saying that he'd play for the Jets this season no matter what for a playoff contention or not?
ooh, no, I did not see that. I did not
Yeah,
see that. That's fantastic, man.
yeah. Probably
I
trying to
love
save his
that.
buddy Hackett. I'm just saying. Might be trying to save his buddy's job.
Might be the case, man. I in a lot of ways, I was kind of high on Zach Wilson when he came out, higher than most, I should say,
Yeah,
and yeah, he's not worked out to that. But man, for you to like, hey, we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna clear the slate. We're going to bring in a new offensive coordinator, and all of a sudden you find out it's Nathaniel Hackett. Can't be happy about that, man. Can't be happy at
No.
all. We got Pearl coming in. Our good friend Pearl. Onion rings, Pearl. No. Happy to see you, Pearl. Pearl's coming in and saying hello in through Facebook. Thank you so much, Pearl. Love to see you here. Thanks for joining us. Hope you had a fantastic Thanksgiving. We had a fantastic Thanksgiving. We're getting there geared up for this game that's coming up as well. Talking a little Thanksgiving football games. Talking a little bit of Black Friday football games. And man, like I said, unfortunately not the best slate of games that were put out there. So, but nonetheless, always good to watch a little bit of football. And one thing that I liked, it wasn't a stressful football or a Thanksgiving for me. The Broncos weren't playing on Thanksgiving, and I was kind of happy for that because I'd always kind of I never thought about that. I'm like, oh, yay, they're going to be playing on Thanksgiving. But no, I think it stresses me out so much more when the Broncos are playing on Thanksgiving. And then, a little alone, you might have the in-laws coming over and, the turkey's not thawed out yet. And, everything starts going up in smoke, especially if it's been up in the last few years when they have had a Thanksgiving game. So
Yeah.
glad that it wasn't happening. Got to enjoy a little bit of football and relax a little bit and get geared up for what's going to be maybe a fantastic game, man. But there's some headlines that have already come out in this game, man. There's already some headlines on the fact of we're watching the injury report. We're trying to see what's happening. We're trying to see, how this game might play out. Let's talk about the Cleveland Browns and their side first, man. Here's a defense that has just been amazing. I was listening to the rebroadcast on some highlights of their last game, and they came out and they said the Cleveland Browns have allowed 13 first downs so far this year.
It's remarkable.
That's a defense that you have to be worried about and you have to consider right off the bat. The one thing that might go in our favor is the fact that Mr. Denzel Ward is not going to be able to go. How big of a boost does that give our offense knowing that Denzel Ward isn't out there playing cornerback for him?
Yeah, that's. I think it definitely gives you a boost. I wonder how much it changes the game plan, just because you do still have Myles Garrett that you have to worry about, and that's a team in Cleveland, the Cleveland Browns. Their defense is just really good against the pass. So I just don't know. I mean, it affects the game for sure because Denzel Ward. I mean, again, he's their best corner, so it definitely does affect it. I just wonder how much it changed their game plan right off the bat. Maybe they adjust that after halftime. If it's if they are not getting much production on the run like we've seen in the weeks past. So I think it does affect it, but I still think that the ground and pound game still exists heavily with this Broncos offense going in this game.
Yeah, it's going to be a test, regardless. It's going to be a test. We'll get into exactly how they should actually attack this defense and the ins and outs and who's going to be key in making this offense run, if it's even possible, against this formidable defense. But first, talking about formidable, coming in here, Mr. Kurt Valente saying, "What's up, boys? Hope Thanksgiving was good. Big game Sunday." Yeah, Thanksgiving was great. It was fantastic, Kurt. Hope yours was the same. Hope you got filled up on football and Thanksgiving dinner and was surrounded by loved ones all the way around, buddy. Good to see you in here, and thank you so much for joining in. But yeah, big game on Sunday, and also big, Mr. Ernie Mays coming in here saying, "Go Broncos country only." Hello, Keith and Trevor. Well, hello to you, Mr. Ernie Mays. Appreciate you coming in here. Always a fantastic supporter. Appreciate you so much. So, yeah, Denzel Ward, I think, honestly, I think that could be a key piece to making this offense run because – yeah, I'm scared about Myles Garrett. I'm scared about that whole front four. I might even be scared about one of their linebackers as well. Their inside linebackers, I guess, if you were to say. But that being said, beyond that, I think they are actually weak. I think that there's some weakness in cornerback. I think there's weakness in both their safeties. I think there's weakness in one of their linebackers. And I think there's been teams that have been able to exploit that. It's whether you can with that front four that gets after like nobody else. There's not a front four that doesn't have to rush that I can think of in the league more than the Cleveland Browns. They can get after it with the front four. Can you think of a defense that's more formidable across that front line than this Cleveland Brown defense?
I can't think of any right now, but I will say again, I think it really helps going into. But again, we just were this here last week with Danielle Hunter. I mean, another elite pass rusher that can, when he's on, makes everybody else better around him. Well, just not just him. So I think it helps Denver that they're going back to back weeks against elite pass rushers that they can adjust to. They did adjust well to Danielle Hunter. Now it's with Myles Garrett. It can be a little bit different because he goes on both. I mean, he goes now just from the left side, mainly the left side, but he also goes transitions from the center position and then onto the right side as well. He moves all over the line. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, up and down the line. We'll try to find a weak spot. I heard a story about J.J. Watt that his first 4 or 5 plays, he would just line up against a guy all the way across, and whoever he felt was the weakest is the guy he was going to pick on the entire game. That was the way that it was determined when he was playing lights out, whether it be in being a Texan or being a Cardinal. So Myles Garrett is playing off the charts, leading the league, 13 sacks, heading into this game. We're looking at a potential 20-plus sack individual that we're lining up against, and he's going to have to be planned against. I thought a great question was brought up in the press conference today, and the fact that each time that Jaleel McLaughlin is out there looking to take the field, 70% of those times he's actually getting the ball handed off to him.
Yeah.
It's telegraphing exactly what you're doing with that individual. That's something that we cannot do during this game. No. Way too easy for a defense like this. They'll just eat you up. So big test against that front four. But like I said, I don't care if you go back and you look at games, even the last game that they just ended up playing, and all of a sudden I'm blanking on who they played last. Oh my goodness, I can't believe I'm doing this. Maybe you can look it up for me, Trevor, in the background. Before that, they played the Baltimore Ravens, and it was mainly Deshaun Watson. But that being said, this team is dynamic in many different ways. It doesn't matter if it's Amari Cooper. They have a 2-back system, much like we have, though we were kind of running more of a 3-back. They're running a 2-back. Ford is fantastic. Reminds me of a Javonte. They also have Kareem Hunt. We all know who Kareem Hunt is, and he's been playing hard. They have Amari Cooper, like I said. They have Moore as a wide receiver who's really been coming on, and a guy that seems like is maybe a favorite target of Dorian Thompson-Robinson is Njoku, who I loved as a tight end as it is. Really ended up lighting it up this last game. So, man, this offense of the Cleveland Browns is not one to sleep on. They put up 33 points against Baltimore. So they do have the ability to go big as well. So one thing that you pointed out in the comments right before we went live is we maybe got a little bit of good news on our defensive side of the balls. Trevor, hit us with it.
Yeah, so PJ Locke is not questionable in this game. So I guess what I'll add to that would be I think he's questionable, and I think he's going to be a game-time decision, in my opinion. I'm sure he'll go out there and try to test it out and see if he's ready to go. One concern I have with him being questionable, I think would say, is do you play him in this game and risk him getting hurt going forward? Because you have Kareem Jackson's out for 4 games now, so you have to think about, be a little cautious with PJ Locke and see if that's the direction you want to go in, or you do sit him another game and then allow somebody else to step up and then allow him back maybe next week when he gets more time. That's what you're going to have to kind of, ponder on what you're going to do. But I think it'll be a game time decision for PJ Locke.
All right, man. Coach, I'm going to call you Coach Salzman here.
Okay.
The medical team and PJ Locke come up to you and say that he's X% and because of that, you say, okay, let's go ahead and get you out there and let's play. What is X percent?
Probably right now, it probably got to be 80% just because of you're really thin at safety right now. So I think that this is a team this week that you're not having to think about necessarily in the passing game. So I don't think he has to play this week in particular. So I think he's got to be 80% close to that because I don't think you can risk him going down another week with Kareem already out, and then you don't have him against a team that is pass heavy. So I would say set him this week if you get a chance to.
Awesome, but I love it. I love it. Also, what I love, man, coming in right now, and then I'm going to hit a few comments that have come in before, is Michael Ronquillo, because he just jumped in here. Says, good evening, Keith and Trevor. Go Broncos. Big blue and orange hearts. Appreciate you so much, Michael. Thank you so much for being in here, jumping in here, being part of our show, man. I know that you're all over the place. You're getting news. You're on podcasts. You're it seems like the guy that he never rests, he never sleeps, but he makes time to jump over to our show. So thank you very much, Michael. I appreciate it so much. Jody reminding me, if you didn't already look it up, it was the Steelers who they played last and played a kind of a tight game with, but ended up pulling out the win. But I'm telling you, that game it was deceivingly low scoring. I would put it that way. I absolutely was amazed on what they were able to do, especially with DTR. I'm going to get to a few more comments just here real quick. Jody's coming in here. Jody, if you guys don't know, of course you know, he's part of the Denver Bronco Roundup, team here. Part of one of your co-hosts that come in every Tuesday night for sure, and on other occasions as well. So might be seeing him a little post game on Sunday. He's coming in here and saying Cleveland has given up 38 to the Colts, 26 to the Raiders, 31 and 28 to the Ravens. I heard another stat. I forget what it was. It was like 5 teams that have scored over 28 points, I think it was, or maybe it was 21 points or something like that, and 5 teams that have scored under 17 points. It's like feast or famine when it comes to playing the Cleveland Browns. So Pearl's coming in here with a fantastic point, saying the Broncos line has got to play better than they have so far. But can they do it? And I think she's saying I feel they can. So do you think this offensive line is capable of having a game plan put in front of them? You put the game plan in front of them. Do you think they can execute it against this defense? And how exactly are you going to keep a balanced plan against this defense when you know that running the ball is probably your best option?
I would start just again, like you said, stick to what this team is best at, and that's running the football early on. But here's the thing: I think Sean Payton's really struggled with this early on. I don't think he trusts Russ early on, and it's almost too late in the game. They trust Russ now. Russ is great because he's clutch and everything, and that's great to see that. But you kind of would like to see the passing game open up a little bit more in the beginning instead of letting it. And I know this game doesn't favor that matchup, but again, I think you at least need to try that method because, again, the past couple games, we really haven't seen that from Sean Payton. I would say he just wasted a little bit too long. So I was sorry about just run and pound. Ground and pound, and you got to attack that defense to their weakness. Now that's easier said than done, of course, but you have to. You can't. The Broncos can't. I don't think can afford to put themselves into the situation they were last week with Minnesota. They were really. They were really just kind of didn't have a running game at all, and then Russ came up clutch when he needed to in that game. Russell Wilson deserves a lot of credit for that game because I don't know if anybody else at quarterback, or I should say anybody else, but much to a lesser extent than Russell Wilson is, I don't think the Broncos are winning that game. And then the large part of that is because of their running game. They ranked 46 yards last week. I mean, against Minnesota, and I'm not saying Minnesota was an easy matchup, but it's like you still have to find ways to run the football and be efficient and take pressure off your quarterback, and they didn't do that at all last week. So I would say this week you have to stick that method, but be quick to pivot if it doesn't work.
Agreed, but I'm going to take it a completely different direction, man. I think this is the game where you need to come out and you need to pass heavy. It was Jody that brought up the Steelers. I was trying to recall. Go back and watch that game. It's like a 15-minute recap if you go out on YouTube. Watch that game and watch how many times the Steelers were in third and long. Third and long, third and long. And the reason being, the Steelers were trying to get that run game going.
Yeah.
The Cleveland Browns know that's going to happen. I think this is the opportunity for you to loosen up this defense and give yourself opportunity to run by throwing the ball early. And I'm not talking about going deep. I don't think that going deep is the right answer. But I can tell you, like I said, cornerbacks, linebackers, safeties, if you can get to that mid-level, you can get very far on this defense. And that's the one thing that I saw. If you can get it to the mid-level, you'll have to get that ball out. It'll have to be timing routes. There'll have to be options. I would spread it out. And more than anything that I saw this defense has a little bit of a hard time with is if you can roll out Russell Wilson, I think there'll be opportunities in order to fire it downfield. Start with the passing game. Start with that play action rollout. Start getting Russell Wilson on the move because those are big guys up front, and I don't want to see batted balls either. I think that's our opportunity to loosen up this defense and then have the opportunity for a Javonte, have an opportunity for a Samaje Perine, maybe even a Jaleel McLaughlin to bust out off a big one. But don't rule out screens. Don't rule out, late options out of the running out of the backfield, out of the backfield, and draw plays even. Draw plays I saw were working as well. Jody's jumping in here, and we did already talk about this, but Denzel Ward being out, like I said, big key is being able to maybe get this offense running through the pass game first and opening it up for the run.
Well, Keith, so here's the thing, and I agree with you completely. Get Russ outside the pocket and play action passing, it would be great in this game. But I just think that if you could establish that run early on, I think the biggest thing in this game is sometimes teams fall too much in love with the stats and say, okay, we need to run the ball. Not all this case, got to balance it out. I think that's in this game, that's what they got to do. Balancing is going to be a key point in this game. You got to run the football because the stats don't lie sometimes. This is a team that doesn't stop the run very well. And they are more of a pass. They do play well against the pass, but again, you still have to test it to see where they're at. And I'm really reluctant to say that in this game because Sean Payton has been so reluctant to do that in pass games. It seems like he's more run heavy, and he is about, okay, the stats aren't lying. They're telling me that we have to run the ball because this defense isn't very good at stopping the run. I just hope that he gets away from that method just a little bit because we do need to see that passing game start opening up more and more as time goes on because Russell Wilson and this offense are getting more time into Sean Payton's offense this year. We're getting more and more time. And I think this team, to be more successful, we've got to start seeing this offense take steps up. And a part of that is getting the passing game going.
Very good, man. Let's talk about the elephant in the room, though, really quickly. Myles Garrett, like I said, leading the league, 13 sacks. How exactly do you think the Denver Broncos go about game planning against Myles Garrett? We talked about he might be able to move up and down the line. He tends to hang out a little bit more on Garrett Bowles' side, though. How do you game plan against a guy like that who's just been a wrecking ball all season long?
Yeah, I think in particular, I think it's got to be Garrett Bowles' guy. I mean, I don't trust Mike McGlinchey or any of those guys on him, especially McGlinchey. McGlinchey's that weak link. I wonder if Myles Garrett, we're going to see more shiftiness in this game from him because he knows that he can attack Mike McGlinchey. So I wouldn't be surprised if they do that. If he does that, the Broncos got to be prepared to throw a couple packages at him if they do go ahead and pass the ball because you cannot have Myles Garrett take over this game. They did a great job last week with Danielle Hunter. That's why I say the formula is there for you to stop an elite pass rusher. This is a little bit different this week, though, with Myles Garrett because he will play on different sides of the ball and throughout the line. So you are going to have to adjust to that. This is the reason you bring in those protection with those tight ends that you have. I think this is the week you use that and see what that works. But again, if it's Garrett Bowles versus Myles Garrett, I like that matchup for the Broncos because Garrett Bowles has been really good this year, in my opinion, in pass protection. So one of the best offensive linemen Broncos have in pass protection this year. So if that's the matchup that the Browns want to play, that's fine. But I think they're going to tend to go. We're going to see a little bit more movement on Myles Garrett part on the line. He's going to start light up against Mike McGlinchey to see if he can catch Broncos kind of off guard a little bit, which I don't think will happen because I think the Broncos will be prepared and they need to be prepared for it all in this game.
Yeah, this offensive line, as Pearl pointed out earlier, man, this has got to be one of their biggest games, man. This is no joke, and it's no joke from top to bottom. And they have a linebacker that can get into the backfield as well. So it doesn't matter, man. This front four, this front five, they're no joke. Like I said, I think though, I think there's going to be different ways that we can attack. I think whether it's screen plays, whether it's draw plays, whether it's design run plays from Russell Wilson, when you kick Myles Garrett upfield and run in behind it, I think there's opportunity. Like same thing with the draw play. That's a great opportunity as well. I think there's opportunity for you to get him second guessing, to hold him at bay, whether he's on Mike McGlinchey, whether he's on Garrett Bowles, whether he's playing the inside. You know what I mean? This is a guy that wants to get upfield. He wants to get sacks. You know what I mean? If he sees that opportunity, he's obviously going for it. This is a guy that's got 13 so far this year, and like I said, headed for 20 plus. So, you know, this is a guy that we need to scheme against. Not just think about how we can block him, but how we can keep him off balance, how we can keep him, second guessing himself. And if that's the case, maybe get a half a step and be able to get some plays. Like I said, go back, watch some of that footage. If you can get into that second level, there is some big opportunity. We talk about it in the run game, like Trevor's been talking, but I also see that opportunity in the pass game as well, man. Who is going to be the key wide receiver for the Denver Broncos in this game if you had to pick one out, man?
I say it's Jerry Jeudy. I think it's got to be. If you're going to talk about going over the middle of the field, I think he's got the speed to beat those guys out. And we talked about it last with Jerry Jeudy and Cortland Sutton end up being the probably the biggest key in that game. Yeah, exactly. But I think Jerry Jeudy, I mean, you just got to start seeing it. And if you're going to go over the field, he's the guy I think that has a speed that can really do some damage. And if you're the Cleveland Browns, you're probably definitely telling your corners to be aware of Jerry Jeudy because he's a guy that can go off at any point in time. He's that talented.
I agree, man. I wish we had a tight end in this position where I could say that's the guy that we will be able to utilize, and that's the guy that could be big for us. And hey, maybe this is the week that an Adam Troutman can go off. Kroll was pulled up last week. Maybe this is an opportunity that he gets on the field, and we see that tight end, wide receiver capability kind of pull out in this game. It's going to be really tough, man. But outside, little screen passes. Jerry Jeudy's another opportunity that has done that a ton, where we see screen passes to Jerry Jeudy, throw into the outside, get those wide receivers out there blocking, get a little, a Cortland Sutton, a little Jordan Humphreys out there, putting on the blocks and see what we can get done. So, It'll be interesting. It'll be interesting to see how this exactly plays out and what we can get done in this game. What are you most concerned about on the offensive side of the Cleveland Browns?
Ooh, I would say the running game, and we've just been really bad at stopping the run recently. I think that's a team that they're going to attack Denver's defense. I mean, just watching them the past couple weeks, the Broncos defense past couple weeks, they've just really struggled against the running game, and they've got to stack the box, and they've got to. I think it's key for them in this game to stop Cleveland's running game. But I would say, they're gonna attack Denver definitely with the running game first, because I don't think they want any part of the secondary right now. What they've been playing with the amount of turnovers they're able to get, they're definitely going to be playing kind of like the Broncos have been playing on offense, just trying to play it safe. Don't try to take too many risks. I think that's definitely Cleveland's mindset going into this game.
Yeah, I'll be honest. The one thing that I'm a little bit concerned about, not that we haven't done well against these type of athletes, but DTR is one heck of a runner, and they'll dial up run plays for him. Of course, he's a rookie, so he's coming in and he's trying to figure things out. Nothing better than just saying, hey, just run with the ball on this one. A little bit easier to figure out that one. So, and he's a guy that can get it done as well. This is a guy that has phenomenal speed, isn't afraid, if you watch, some highlights from last week, to put his head down and get yardage, but he's elusive, he's fast, he gets out on the run, he can escape the pocket quite easily. He's a guy that, again, I'll be a little bit concerned with just in how they're going to want to attack this Denver Broncos defense. Let's face it, if we're flipping the script, let's take a look at it from a Cleveland Browns perspective. What are you most concerned about in this game? What are you most concerned about? Well, one of the things has got to be this defense, and how do you attack this Denver Broncos defense? Yeah, you want to get the ball running. It seems like you should be able to run the ball pretty well, but teams have tried to grind it out and pound it out and, get games the hard way, not the easy way by throwing it all over the place and putting up points, but trying to grind out wins against the Denver Broncos and have been coming up losers. So, that's may not be the formula. How do you think this Cleveland Browns, again, running the ball is going to be one thing. What's the biggest wide receiving threat you're most concerned about on this team? Because they have a few, man. Whether it be Moore, whether it be, Cooper, Njoku. Like I said, they got a few, man, that you got to keep your eyes on because they're no joke. Whether it be Deshaun Watson or DTR. So
Yeah, I would say Amari Cooper, but I don't think in this game that he's going to be too much of a factor just because I think they're going to want to stay away from Patrick Surtain. So I think I'm pretty confident with that matchup right there. But I would say if any wide receiver is going to give me any sort of problems, I think it would be Amari Cooper. It kind of reminds me of Cortland Sutton in a lot of ways. Deep wide receiver, comes up, pretty big in plays, and a lot of he's a guy that a lot of people kind of wrote off there for a long time, and he's quietly had a really solid season for them. So I would say Amari Cooper definitely, but I could definitely see Njoku going off too because Thomas Robinson, his one of his favorite targets has definitely been Njoku. Like you say, you're right on that. So I wouldn't be surprised if Njoku went off a little bit in this game, just because also, if you're if you're trying to scheme up this game on Cleveland's side of things on offense, you're probably not trying to throw the ball deep exactly because the Broncos can also get after the quarterback. So I wouldn't be surprised. They do a lot of kind of under the, not only running the ball, but a lot of short passes, kind of get the ball out quickly just because the Broncos can get to the and have shown to get to the quarterback as well and knock some balls out of that quarterback's hand like we've seen with Dobbs last week.
Like it, man. One of the questions we'll get to here in just a second. I think that's a good point. But, I agree. I think that the biggest thing is if I was the Cleveland Browns and I'm trying to scheme up, man, I'm not excited about going against the secondary. And I don't care if it's PJ Locke or it's not PJ Locke and it happens to be, Turner Yell or, back there. The cornerbacks have been fantastic. The turnovers have been coming in the secondary in a lot of instances. I'm not excited about my rookie quarterback going out there and trying to throw a deep ball. So I agree with you in that situation. Underneath, again, what the pressures that these linebackers will have, what the nickel corner might have, or the inside corner, whoever's lined up on the slot, I guess you could say, that's going to be a big one, man. That's going to be big. They're going to try to get that ball out. They're going to try to work it underneath. Saw a lot of that. Amari Cooper isn't going big like he was in Dallas. He's working underneath. He's working small ball. He's running 8-yard dig routes, you name it. So, Amari Cooper is a big one for me, but Njoku seems like this is, that there's the connection. There's the tight end connection that you see with especially a rookie quarterback looking for that outlet, looking for that guy that's a big body guy that can, fight for the ball if you don't happen to get it exactly perfect to him. That's a guy I'm going to be worried about. But don't be surprised. Again, Moore was big, and this running game with Ford and Hunt, they can get rolling, and don't let them. That's a big thing. Ernie Mays coming in here and saying our defense can stop them. I love that, Ernie. I appreciate it, man. I think he put it in here twice, and I like this one even better because he says "Go Broncos" at the end. So, thank you, Ernie, for jumping in there on that side of things. So, I think we've covered. That was one of the questions that we actually put. I don't know if I put it on our ad, but we certainly had it in our agenda or something I wanted to talk about. Can this defense maintain what they've been doing, including turnovers? Is this the game that they can continue with the turnovers as well? Trevor, what are your thoughts on that? Because this defense has been playing pretty lights out. It's been a big part of this turnaround that we've had. It's not like we've been putting up 42 points and that's been our turnaround. This defense has been a big part of what we've been able to do. Can they continue against the Cleveland Browns? And I want you to give me a little projection on turnovers for this game.
Yeah, so I think they definitely can. I think in this game it also favors them because Cleveland is tied third most in NFL with 20 turnovers. So I think
Ooh.
if you're Cleveland, you're going to have to definitely be a little bit more worried about turnovers. And I think that they're going to. I wonder if they're trying to play more conservative type of game, a defensive game from their standpoint, because
Mm.
they do not want to turn the ball over. But I do think that this defense can have that sustained success. And then, more importantly, they're going to have to win the turnover battle going forward because Denver's offense is not clicking right now. And you're not having clicking offense, you got to win somehow. And it's got to be the defense that's definitely kind of carrying the load. And that's what we've seen the past couple of weeks. I definitely think that it's going to have to be sustained, but I don't think it can be relied upon going forward because you do need all three phases of the field, special teams, offense, and defense, to all be there in the game. And the Broncos' offense just hasn't been there. So it's definitely sustainable with this team. There's no doubt about that. Got to see them start playing better against the run because teams will start taking advantage of that. But as far as passing game wise, I think this team is in a great position. They do get after the quarterback. They have all of what it takes to be a great defense and to have that sustained success. But again, got to start seeing better numbers from the offense. They got to start moving the ball better and being better in the red zone.
I agree, man. I was gonna hold you. I'm gonna hold you to it though. How many turnovers does the defense get in this game? Do you think?
I'm gonna go 3 in this game. Just
Ooh.
because I do think that Cleveland, they may try to play conservative, but we did see that from Minnesota a little bit last week. So I think that teams trying to be a little too conservative can also be a problem, and they may think about it a little bit too much. And this defense again has notorious past couple of weeks for creating fumbles, interceptions, however you want to put it, in turnovers in general. So I think that this is, I would say 3 is definitely in play this week for the Broncos. And again, Cleveland is notorious for turn the ball over, the third most in the NFL, tied with Minnesota.
Well, right there, man. And Ernie Mays coming in with agreements. He says, yes, they can. More interceptions and fumbling of the ball. So I like it, man. I like it a ton. And fantastic stats, Trevor. I appreciate you bringing that to the table, man. Leading the league in turnovers, or tied for the lead.
Third
I'll
most.
say third most. I'm sorry.
Yeah. No, you're
I'm
good.
listening. I'm listening to your stats halfway. But still, 20 turnovers, man. That I heard.
Yeah.
Right? Correct? Okay.
Yeah.
20 turnovers, man. That's no joke. Especially, you don't know exactly who. I mean, we know who they went up against, but I don't know if they've went up against a team like the Denver Broncos, a team that's obviously been on a run of even making those interceptions, making those turnovers happen. Man, I want to get to this really quick. These 3 players on defense need to play well for us to win the game, and then I'm going to flip it over to offense. And I just want your thoughts on it, man. I'm not going to throw my 2 cents in on this. Or maybe I will if I feel you miss somebody. How's that?
Okay. I would say I think DJ Jones, Zach Allen, because those 2 up front starts with them stopping the run. And I'm going to go in this game. I'm going to go Justin Simmons just because I think that having PJ lock out is definitely going to be something that he's going to have to make up a little bit of ground for that. And so I'm going to go Justin Simmons in this game. But I'm definitely curious on your thoughts as well.
Yeah, I mean, I'm right up there with you, man. I think this needs to be a Zach Allen type of game. I'm going to go a little bit different, though. Again, with the way that their quarterback is, the way that he scrambles, I think that this needs to be a big Nick Bonito. I think this needs to be a big Baron Browning game. So I'm going to go those 2 guys on the edges as well. They need to be able to contain. They need to be able to get after him. When he escapes, they need to be able to pursue him to the sidelines and not allow him to turn upfield for big yards. It will happen. We talked about this running game, and this running game needs to be basically stopped from the Cleveland side of things. I don't want Ford and Hunt going off. So whether it be inside or whether it be making sure that those guys don't escape to the outside edges, again, need to be worried about a Nick Bonito and a Baron Browning. I think those guys will be huge in this game. So offensive side of the ball, Pearl's coming in and saying Russ is at his best when he scrambles. This could be the difference. So maybe that's her vote. She's 100% agreeing with all of us. So that's awesome. No, I don't know what you're agreeing with, Pearl, but I appreciate your support. So offensive side of the ball, Pearl. Offensive side of the ball, Trevor. Trevor, what are you thinking for you? These 3 guys need to have a great game.
I'm gonna go with I'm gonna go with Smudge P. Ryan. I think P. Ryan's a guy that I think we're going to see a lot more this week, just because of Myles Garrett. I think that you definitely need to contain him, and I think everybody, Javonte, McLaughlin. I think P. Ryan's definitely the better pass pro. I would say so. I think P. Ryan's going to get the rock a little bit more in this game. I'm going to say Russell Wilson because he's got to continue to take care of the ball against his defense. He's got to know when to throw the football. Right, you're going against another elite pass rusher this week. Got to throw the ball. Got to get rid of it sooner rather than later. You cannot take those deep shots right now. You got to see how the defense is going to act first. If the defense acts, then you're fine, probably because you're playing well. If you're not playing well and the defense doesn't act, then that's when you can throw the top, just like we seen last week against Minnesota later in the game. So I'd say Russell Wilson, then last, but not least, Jerry Jeudy, because again, if you're going to throw over the middle, Jerry Jeudy is my guy. Go over the middle because I think that if you're going to have that and play that way, he's got definitely that speed to get through the middle and really do some damage, in my opinion.
Very good, man. I was really hoping you were going to pick 3 offensive linemen so I could pick 2. Yeah, then still have 1 left over.
I forgot one, we'll say.
So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to say that since Garrett Bowles is most likely to line up against Myles Garrett, I'm going to ask him to have a fantastic game in order for us to win. I could choose any guy along this offensive line. I could flip to the other side, but I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to just call out Garrett Bowles. Please have a fantastic game. If he has a fantastic game, I think we have a great chance. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to double down on one guy that you mentioned, and that's Samaje Perine. I think Samaje Perine is a guy that you can hide in that backfield because he can either be a run blocker, he can be a pass outlet, he can go ahead and he can handle the ball in any capacity. He can help you out in pass protection. He can escape late into a outlet pass. This is the guy that is that all-tool type of running back that you kind of need. Not great at anything in particular, but good at just about everything. And that's the type of guy that's going to be able to be utilized throughout this game. Like I said, be able to be hidden because, as we mentioned, when it comes to Jaleel McLaughlin, unfortunately, when he hits the field, it's pretty much going to him, and you can't expect him to help out in pass protection in a game like this at all. So I'm going to double down on Samaje Perine with you. The last one I'm going to go with is similar to yours, but different guy. And I'm going to say Marvin Mims. Marvin Mims has been a standout when it comes to special teams, and we need to continue to be able to flip the field, and that's a guy who's been doing it for us. And I think, quite honestly, with the production that we've seen out of Jeudy lately and Marvin Mims getting similar snap counts as what we've seen to Jerry Jeudy, I think this might be one of those games where maybe it's Marvin Mims who's going over the middle that has that quick slant that can secure a catch and get 7-8 yards on first down for us and put us in a fantastic position. So I'm going to say Marvin Mims with everything that he can bring on special teams, and then maybe a step up in this offense this week as this offense continues to morph and mold and become different things throughout the year, but continues to win as of lately, man. So those are my 3 guys on either side of the ball, man. I'm going to, we're at 45 minutes. Let's go ahead and let's get into some score predictions. I know that we had some early ones come in. Ernie Mays came in with one already, man. This is going to be a tough-fought battle. They moved this game, for anybody who doesn't know, they moved it up to 11 o'clock start time, Mountain Standard Time, rather than the 2 o'clock, so be ready for that. A little early Sunday, even though it's going to be played in Mile High. We're used to those 2 o'clock starts. That being said, the Cleveland Browns are coming to Mile High, a place where the Broncos, tend to rain a little bit better. Altitude can affect players. I just saw, it was funny, I saw a recent interview by a guy and he said, I always went, yeah, Mile High, whatever. He's like, yeah, it's a thing, man. He's like, you got your hands on your knees sometimes, so if you're not prepared for it, it'll take your toll in this game. So Broncos want to continue this. What is I don't mind if you look this up real quick. What is the Cleveland Browns record, though? Do you know the Cleveland Browns record? Since we all talk about them, that they're not all so great. And, we're talking about, oh, the Cleveland Browns, they have a good defense. If they, maybe we can, if we can get, across that defense, maybe we can pull out a win.
Mhm.
The Cleveland Browns are kind of a no joke, and people aren't really talking about them. Trevor, what's their record?
7-3.
7-3, man.
Yeah.
7-3. So this is not just a hey, we're gonna go ahead and we can keep steamrolling because the Cleveland Browns aren't nothing big. The Cleveland Browns are 7-3, ladies and gentlemen. The Cleveland Browns are formidable. The Cleveland Browns have weapons on offense and defense. Trevor, I know that you're my realist, man. Do the Denver Broncos continue this streak? Can they continue to do it, man?
Yeah, I think that they definitely can. I think it's going to be a close scoring game. It's definitely going to be that hard nosed, scratched out victory in this one. I definitely think the Broncos can scratch out this one because here's the thing, and like we mentioned it in this show and then our post game show when we talked about the Cleveland Browns. This is a team that their defense is a little inconsistent in this game. So that's something that I think if you're Cleveland fan, you're probably worried about just a little bit is, okay, well, our defense has been a little inconsistent, like Jody mentioned in the comments, giving up the amount of points they have. I do think that definitely the Broncos have the advantage in this game. Cleveland's also played most of their games at home, so they're 2-2 on the road. So that's probably something to Denver's advantage. They are playing Mile High. It is on the road. So it's going to be definitely a lot tougher for this Cleveland Browns game. Rookie quarterback there in Cleveland. They've had 3 different starting quarterbacks this season, which has been really
wild,
really crazy. Yeah, exactly. And so I definitely in this game I have Broncos 21-17.
All right, man. There it is, man. First prediction coming in from Trev. Well, it's first one on the air. On the air. Like I said, we do have one I'll throw up on the screen here from Ernie Mays here in just a moment as well. Anybody else want to jump in with their prediction? I'd appreciate it, man. I'd like to have the camaraderie and the fun and the comments and the chats as well. Kind of like Pearl coming in here and say Mims needs to hold on to that ball too, though. I agree, man. It's part of being, kind of growing up and being in the league and becoming a rookie. He's been doing fantastic as of lately, and I like what he's been putting on the field, so continue that growth. Michael Ronquillo coming in. Ooh, always hate when it jumps right at the last second. He's coming in with his 3 guys that he thinks need to stand out on offense. He's saying Jerry Jeudy, Garrett Bowles, and the Broncos tight ends. Yeah, I almost went with the whole offensive line, as being one of my guys, but that's a little bit of a cheat, especially when we're only picking one side of the ball. But I agree with you, man. Whoever that tight end is, man, needs to be big. It seems like we rely on one guy or another. Troutman's been big as of lately, but we get some man hurts out there as well. But tight ends need to come up big as well. I agreed with Garrett Bowles. Of course, our good friend Trevor here agreed with Jerry Jeudy, so you're in good company there as well. So,
and the reason, real quick, before we go the rest of the comments,
ahead,
the reason I said I didn't really put Garrett Bowles in there is because I wonder the adjustments that Cleveland's going to make. I wonder if one of those is Garrett moving down the line and not necessarily line up against Garrett Bowles. Because why would they move? Why would they line up against one of the Denver's best pass protectors? So so if you have the ability to move down the line and go up against a Mike McGlinchey and tight end, I'd probably taken that over Garrett Bowles, to be honest. And if they don't work, then it's a different situation. But I'm probably taking that risk if I'm Cleveland. So that's why I say, Garrett Bowles. If Garrett lines up, right against, Garrett Bowles, and I could see that being that Garrett Bowles definitely is a player that is important in this game. But I think that Cleveland's just gonna make some adjustments to where it's not the case the whole time. That both of them are lined up against each other.
I agree, man. I agree. Like I said, I had a hard time trying to choose. I almost chose Mike McGlinchey because I agree with you that they might try to take advantage over there. I'm just thinking, where he's most comfortable, where he tends to get off. I haven't looked it up, but I believe where he's got his most sacks from, and that's lining up against the left tackle. And if that's the case, then it's Garrett Bowles. If not, it could very, very easily be flipped. And like I said, I almost wanted to dominate the entire offensive line because he could try to take advantage of Ben Powers. He could try to take advantage of Lloyd Cushenberry. Pick it up. This is a guy that really, really can take advantage of just about anybody. So I like this. Pearl's coming in and saying, just win. Just win, man. It's amazing this tear that this Denver Broncos team has been on. they certainly have the opportunity to continue. We want this Broncos Rocky Mountain High to continue, man. We're all feeling it, man. We're starting to get a little bit of a good feeling in our gut and a good feeling in about our team, and we want it to continue. And I 100% agree. Michael is coming in here agreeing as well, saying Browns 14, Broncos 21. I already talked about Ernie Mays, and now all of a sudden I'm ignoring him, so I might as well go ahead and get his as well. He came up here and he's thinking Broncos 28 and the Browns 10. So some pretty big scores. You know, like we said, this is a feast or famine type of team. They've either given up big scores or they've held them to hardly anything. I'm really hoping, man, again, this team riding this momentum, you know, game planning for this team. I just feel like this team is continuing to morph, continuing to get better. I haven't seen a step back from hardly anybody in weeks. Yeah. Every time I see a guy out there on the field, I'm like not going, oh man, he was playing so good last week. What happened? No, it seems like each week this team is doing just as good as last, if not getting a touch bit better. And I want it to continue. So I'm going to will it to happen, guys. I want to will it to happen. I want to say it's going to be a Denver Bronco win. And it's going to be a 23-13 win for the Denver Broncos, man. I think that this team can struggle to put up points. I think it's going to be really how we key up, and this quarterback's going to be a big key. What you can do against this quarterback, getting pressure against this quarterback, if we can do it with our front four, that will be fantastic, guys. Fantastic. If we can get after him with the front four, we'll be winning a battle right then and there. We can get time of possession. We can flip fields. We can put our offense in a great position to put up points. And if that's the case, 23-13, Broncos over the Cleveland Browns. We continue to roll. We once again take down a team that everyone, especially if you look at that record, if you look at the streak that they've been kind of going on, if you look at the expectations of this defense, maybe we can once again shut it down, put another one behind us, and move on to the next. Keep stacking those wins. That's what I see, bud.
Yeah. Yep, absolutely. And I get there's a lot of big things that can happen in this game. And you talk about momentum and talk about this team being a playoff team. Broncos are going to have to start taking advantage of their home field, because those Bronco teams in the past, what have they done? They've taken care of business at home. A lot of teams, when you're going to in a playoff team, you take care of business at home. This is the game they've got to do that in. So the Cleveland Browns team, again, there's not a lot of advantages on Cleveland's side. There's really not. They have a rookie quarterback that's starting in there. He's coming into one of the more difficult places to play in the NFL, and you have about one philosophy. If your running game does not make it, I mean, I really think that the tides kind of really shift in the Broncos' favor in that one. It's going to be, for me, it's going to be, can the Broncos' offense pick up in this game? Can they help out the defense in this game more than they have been? Because they have not done that to this point. There are a couple games in there, of course, but at least past couple of weeks, they haven't done that. Can we run the ball more efficiently? Because we haven't done the past couple of weeks. And so, yeah, because, again, the success right now is sustained, but we need to see something more from the offense, because we do have a head coach that is an offensive guy. And we do have quarterback Russell Wilson who can make those plays. Just we need to see that playbook open up a little bit more, everybody be more comfortable in the playbook and everything. So I just think that this is a team that definitely need this victory, and I will definitely be entertained to see, is this a close game, or is this a game that they do go off? Because it could definitely happen. One of these games, then this year, this offense will figure it out and put it all together, and we will see a definitely more of an advantage towards the Broncos than it has been the past couple of weeks.
I agree, Trevor, man, and I think that you just read Pearl's comment and then just tried to make it your own. No, I'm just kidding. Pearl coming in and she says, "I feel this is the game the offense clicks." Yeah. And I agree with you both. This has been a team that has done what it's needed to do late in games in order to win. Sometimes having to make sure that the defense gives them the ball in order to make sure that happens. So, to Trevor's point, hasn't been perfect for this offense. To Pearl's point, it's about time that this offense clicks. And you know what? Like I said, continues to morph, continues to change. I think there's certainly a possibility that this might be that week that we see that happen. I think there's opportunity. I think there's opportunity if you can get to the second level, and that doesn't, whether that be in the run game or in the passing game. And if that happens, big yak, which we haven't seen from this Denver Broncos team. That's what I see, and that would be fantastic for this team. Guys, I think that's it. I don't see any other predictions coming in. So first, I guess for me, I'll kind of fill in for Albert. Thank you so much for joining in here. First off, we had Kurt Valente that came in. Kurt was in here pretty dang early, and if you guys don't know, he has his own podcast about the Denver Broncos every single Wednesday. It's called the K&K Sports Show. You want to search that out, whether it be Facebook, YouTube, or X. That's where you want to go ahead and join up with those guys, and they do all sorts of sports. They do it all the time. Check those guys out. Fantastic sports show over there, and those guys are like cousins for us over there. So thank you to Kurt for jumping in and being part of the comments. Thank you to Pearl. Thank you to Ernie. Thank you to Jody, our co-host, who's actually not able to be in his own studio, but is joining in on the comments. Thanks, Jody. Appreciate you always being part of it. Michael Ronquillo as well. Graham jumped in here, and I completely passed over his comment. I'm gonna throw it up just now because of that. He said the Broncos seem to often be a team that gives up records to other teams or players, maybe single game rushing records for a rookie QB. Boy, I certainly hope not, Graham.
Yeah.
Man, don't curse us like that on the way out.
Yeah.
I'll take this one instead because this was, like I said, I think I hit everybody that I saw in the comments. Again, I apologize for everything being a little bit funky. I had to reroute everything through the Denver Bronco Roundup, so I appreciate everyone that was able to join in, be part of the show. Didn't get as many shares out, so maybe a few less people in on our show this evening. Nonetheless, appreciate every single one of you that came in, and Pearl's coming in at the very end, saying, great show, stay warm, we are snowed in. Well, yeah, we're just cold up here, but I did see that you guys out in Wyoming, Colorado, you all kind of got a little bit of snow. So, yeah, stay warm, stay safe, be careful on those roads, especially if this all took you by surprise and you're not all set up with the right vehicle or the right tires or what have you. Please be safe, especially since we're in the middle of the holiday season. Don't want anything bad to happen, especially this time of year. So, Trevor, let's get a few comments from you, get some final wrap up, and let's get out of here and talk about maybe a post-game show next.
Yeah, just want to thank you all for hanging with us tonight. Again, we had some little bit of technical difficulties, but you guys hung with us. So appreciate all of you that commented and were here with us. You guys make this possible. We do this for you guys. Can't wait to have an awesome post-game show on Sunday. So make sure to have us, subscribe to us and definitely share when we have our information out for the show. Just be prepared because we're going to come in. It's always a great time talking with you guys anytime we get a chance to. Our post games are definitely a different animal, regardless win, loss, it don't matter. We definitely turn it up a notch. So definitely stay tuned for that. But let's be ready for Broncos win. I mean, again, this is one of the best Christmas presents we can have. Is the Broncos team continuing to make progress and continue to stack those wins and take care of business against the Browns, because it's a Browns team that, again, Broncos a lot of advantage in the Broncos' favor in this game. So take advantage of it, take care of your own business, and then we worry about the playoffs and other teams down the line. But keep stacking those wins game by game. That's what it is for the Broncos. And I think all for Broncos country, just great to see this from this team, and can't wait for Sunday.
I agree completely, man. Just a quick couple of things, guys. I won't hold you guys up very, very long. Rocky Mountain Sports Network, that's who we are brought to you by. Please check out Rocky Mountain Sports Network. They got a lot of things going on, whether it be your Colorado Avalanche, your Denver Nuggets, your Denver Broncos, or your Colorado Rockies. So check them out. I'll throw a little thing on the bottom of the screen. You can check them out at RockyMountainSN.com. You can also just search out Rocky Mountain Sports Network on Facebook, on X, on YouTube. They'll take you right there. Also, guys, Willow Seasonings and Blends is our fantastic sponsor. There it is. Willow Seasonings and Blends right there. Sorry, I had a little more technical difficulties. Willow Seasonings and Blends is a Colorado-based seasonings and sauce company, guys. They are Blue Ribbon award-winning, They're a Denver Bronco fan. They're a veteran-owned company. They're available all up and down the Front Range, guys. Go over to willowseasonings.com. You can type in your address, find out where you can find it. They're, like I said, they're all over the place. They're not only in Colorado, but they're all over the nation as well. If you happen to be outside the Colorado region, you might be worth typing in your zip code in that instance as well. That being said, guys, if you head over to willowseasonings.com, type in the promo code DBR2023, that's DBR2023, it'll save you 15% off your final purchase. Exclusions apply for anything that you may have on sale. Just keep that in mind as well. That being said, he is flipping $1 towards a Rocky Mountain Sports Network family in need every time you use that code, guys. So help yourself out. Help fill your wish list out, especially for any barbecue fans out there, any barbecue guys or gals that love to stand around the coals, stand around the pellets, stand around the smoker. I'm telling you, this is the stuff that they're going to want to put on their favorite recipes. Head on over to willowseasonings.com today. I'm going to check the final comments one last time. Oh, love this. Michael Ronquillo, thank you again so much for being part of the show. Saying Broncos country, this is the way. Guys, we're going to go ahead and get out of here. Don't forget, again, the Denver Bronco Roundup isn't just one show anymore. We're catching you every Friday night. We're catching you on the post game this Sunday, so check that out as well. We'll get you an ad out, a time, and when we're going to be able to catch up with you on that post game show. And that being said, always Tuesday, 7 o'clock p.m., that's our standard show. You get the full panel with Jody, Albert, Trevor, Keith, and sometimes even a special guest, guys. So thank you guys so much. Appreciate it so much. Appreciate Jeremy jumping in here last second and saying, go Broncos. Absolutely. Let's get that win on Sunday, guys. Until then, go ahead and keep your guns in your holsters. Keep your... Got it, Trevor? Keep your boots in your stirrups and keep the Broncos in your hearts, guys. Thank you so much. Until next time, we'll see you soon. Good night.